It began on a quiet Easter morning, when the wind barely stirred and the sun wore its gentlest grin. I wandered as I always did, tracing soft circles around his house, patient, deliberate, savoring the wait. I knew the moment would come. He had to rot, to splinter, to ferment like old fruit beneath holy light. His name was Nathan, and I have been studying the textbooks. He'd help people when no one was watching, like it was a secret he couldn't stop keeping. He never fought back. How interesting, he was like an angel in a storybook. He was too good, not in a human way, in that paper doll kind of way, like if you bent him too far, he'd crumple. So I bent him. I wanted to see if he could rot. I wanted to watch that sweet milk skim mold and crack grow. Fermentation. My father would forget my name. I'd whisper to myself and forget how to chew. I watched his teeth rot in his sleep, gums blackening like old fruit. He's composting, I told the nurses, giggling behind the curtain. The way he stared, empty, soupy. It was like watching a candle drown in its own wax. That's when I knew rot was honest, and I wanted more. All I could think about was Nathan's innocent little family life, slowly rotting away from him, his mental state worsening naturally. I took Nathan first. Not in a dream, not in metaphor. I brought him down into the place beneath my house, the stone room with no windows, where the walls sweat and the air never fully dries. I bound him there and left him unclean. I did not strike him. I did not rush the work. I only removed what kept him whole light, routine, warmth, care. Decay does the rest on its own time. Then I brought his family, one by one. I placed them near him so they could hear each other breathe, so memory would rot alongside the body. Families are meant to share everything. Why not this? They asked what I wanted. They begged. They prayed. I wrote notes instead. I watched. I waited. Oh, Nathan's father, the preacher, the man who stood beneath stained glass and preached as though the soul were exempt from nature. He carried his faith carefully, like polished silver, cleaned weekly, displayed proudly, untouched by filth. He used to speak of heaven as if decay were merely a hurdle to defeat, as if the mind were sacred, separate, above the meat that carried it. But faith weakens when the body does. A starving man prays differently than a full one. A sleepless mind clings to God with shaking hands. But the words start to feel like echoes of delusion, not conviction. In the basement, his faith shortened with the days. Prayer became repetition. Repetition became instinct. Instinct became silent. And eventually, even he could no longer tell whether he was speaking to God or merely trying to hear another voice before his own disappeared. Oh, Nathan's mother. No doctrine, no grand philosophy, just that ordinary animal sort of love mothers carry without question. The kind that wakes at small noises, the kind that reaches for a child before fully waking. She believed love could preserve a person, that if someone was cared for deeply enough, they could not truly come apart. But love is still carried by a body, and bodies exhaust. I watched her slowly lose the strength required to nurture. Sleepless nights dulled her patience. Hunger shortened her temper. Fear hollowed out her voice. At first, she comforted Nathan constantly, then only when he cried out, then only when she remembered to. Eventually, even affection became habitual. A hand on his shoulder, a rehearsed reassurance, motions repeated without feeling behind them. By the end, she did not look at him with motherly love anymore. only the tired panic of someone trying to keep another organism alive long after both had begun to fail. And that was when I truly understood her. By the end, she no longer spoke of Nathan as her son, only as something still technically alive, something she was trying and failing not to lose to the rot. Human beings call themselves sacred only because they cannot endure the terror of realizing that every love, every faith, and every fragment of identity survives solely at the mercy of a failing body. Love, faith, mercy, hope. As though giving suffering a prettier name somehow lifted it above the nervous system that produced it. Humans speak of transcendence because they are frightened by dependence. They want the mind to feel separate from the flesh that leaks, starves, trembles, rots. But remove sleep and conviction softens, remove food and kindness shortens. Prolonged fear and morality begins shedding itself in layers like diseased skin. Tell me then, if devotion disappears with exhaustion, if compassion weakens with hunger, if identity itself can be altered by trauma, fever, isolation, chemistry, then in what sense were these things ever divine? What is higher about a love that fails when the body can no longer sustain it? What is sacred about faith that survives only under adequate conditions? A candle is not eternal because it briefly resists the dark, and the mind is not holy merely because it fears the realization that it is made of meat. I had learned patience as a child sitting beside my father while he came apart. His teeth loosened in his mouth. His hands forgot their purpose. His thoughts wandered until even I was a stranger. Doctors named it disease. I recognized it as a process. The textbooks taught me what the body becomes when care is withdrawn. Moisture trapped, skin softened, thought dulled, identity reduced to habit, then to reflex. The mind follows the body. It always does. And then I saw him there, my father, already gone yet still present. Not as a man, but as a remainder. He did not recognize me. That was the final confirmation. So I did not stop. I sealed the dungeon and stayed inside it. I let the same neglect touch me. I let time and filth make their record in my own flesh. I wanted no exception written for me. This is not madness. This is observation. The world rots quietly every day. Homes, families, memories, bodies. We dress it up. We clean it away. But it happens all the same. It is unpleasant. It is unavoidable. It is the oldest rule there is. Everything decays. I believe the world is a sealed room where bodies, memories, families, and even love are left damp and unattended until they soften, sour, and collapse into the same slow, nameless rot that took my father and will take everyone else. So
not because it was strong, not because it mattered, because thinking is just another function, like breathing, like decay. When the body is preserved, the mind lingers. When the body is neglected, the mind follows. Cause even when bodies go bad and we stop working, something still passes through. I talk weird. The body state. So the thought did too, not because it was strong, not because it mattered, because thinking is just another function, like breathing, like decay. When the body is preserved, the mind lingers. When the body is neglected, the mind follows. Cause even when bodies go bad and we stop working, something still passes through. I talk weird.